Talmor, Shishin Marachi. Talmor is my home. My family have worked the land for generations. My gran says the island does not belong to us, but we belong to the island. And we must be ready, for a great evil is coming. And death follows with it.
Listen and subscribe to the latest season of Undertow, The Harrowing, a Storyglass production presented by Realm, available wherever you get your podcasts.
Contained herein are the heresies of Radolf Buntwine, erstwhile monk turned traveling medical investigator. Join me as I study the secrets of the divine plagues and uncover the blasphemous truth that ours is not a loving God, and we are not its favored children. The heresies of Radolf Buntwine, wherever podcasts are available.
Hello world, and welcome back to another episode of Thanks for Coming In. I'm your host, Jillian Clare. If this is your first time tuning in, hello and welcome. This is the show where I speak to fellow actors about their journey thus far in their career, and then we talk about some audition stories that are fun and sometimes crazy and sometimes embarrassing. But hey, we've all been there, right? So welcome. A couple things before we get into today's interview. One, I saw Scream yesterday, and I need people to talk to about this, because like the only two people in my life that have gone to see it yet were very much so like, yeah, it was fun, and like that was it. But I need a fellow Scream lover to go into a deep dive with me on this. So if you are that person, can you please DM me on Instagram, because I would like to go into a deep dive. Also, I am going to Joshua Tree for the first time in my life this weekend, and I'm so excited. We are going for one of my best friend's birthdays. We decided it was like the safest way for a few of us to be together, all testing beforehand, all that kind of fun stuff. But I'm so excited because this place that he found is it's like a mystery place, and it has like puzzles within it. I'll tell you guys about it when I get back and share the name and whatnot. But I'm really excited to go. I think it's gonna be so fun, and I haven't gone on like a friend trip since before the pandemic started. So I'm excited to just like have a weekend with just my friends and chill and have fun. And there's no TV in this Airbnb either, which I kind of am obsessed with. So we have to like talk to each other and play games and connect. And I think there's like a jacuzzi and stuff too. So, oh my God, I'm so excited. And I cannot wait to tell you guys about this mystery house, because I'm just like so stoked about this. I can't even explain how stoked I am. I know a lot of like podcasters talk about what they're watching and whatnot beforehand, but I have to also shout out Station 11, because holy shiitake. Oh my God, my dog. Do you hear that? That's my Malamute. Moose, what are you doing? That's Moose scratching his ear. Anyway, Station 11 is so freaking good. I mean, could it be the perfect show? It might be the perfect show. Mackenzie Davis is insane. The little girl who plays the little version of her is insane. I mean, everyone in that show is so flippin' good. And the show itself is amazing. I also just watched The Tragedy of Macbeth, and holy wow. The woman who played the witches scared the crap out of me. But it was so good. I mean, Joel Cohen really just did not come to mess this up. He came to like put his stake in Shakespeare and say, I can do this. And he did, and it was beautiful, and probably my favorite iteration of Macbeth I've ever seen. So check those out. Okay, y'all, let's get to the show. So today we have Montse Hernandez. You may remember her from a film called Lowriders with Eva Longoria. She also voices a lot of really, really cool animated series. She plays Gwen on Ben 10. She was in The Last Kids on Earth. You may also remember her as Teen Jane in Jane the Virgin. And today we're going to talk about her new movie, Student Body, which hits theaters February 8th. So here's my conversation with Montse Hernandez. And welcome to the show, Montse.
Hi, thank you.
I'm so excited to have you today and talk about your new movie, Student Body, which I'm so stoked to see because I love horror movies.
Me too. I'm like, yeah, me too. I'm in one and I love them so much.
I mean, they're just like the most fun to watch. They're the most fun to like film. I mean, it's such a cool experience to be in a horror movie.
Mm-hmm. No, it really is. It's so different being in one than watching one. Yeah. I mean, obviously, it's just so weird how everything works. Like, you get the whole behind the scenes, like, oh, like, you know, this is how you do the tricks, and this is how we show. I don't want to say. I'm trying to really spoil it. I get too excited. But yeah, no, it's really interesting.
I mean, how many times did you get like blood stuck in your hair and all of that?
Oh man, a lot. A lot of blood. Definitely made my hair super crunchy, which was
so
really
crunchy.
Cute. So crunchy. It's really
like, how do you get that out? It's just like, it just becomes like if you put too much mousse in a perm or something.
Yeah, so it's conditioner helps.
Yeah.
But then like conditioner, it makes your hair super like greasy, super like shiny. I couldn't.
Well, let's go back a little bit because you've been in this business for so long, and I want to, let the listeners hear your story because I think it's so interesting. I mean, I was looking at your IMDb, and from what I can tell, Barney was your first job?
Yes, it was.
Oh my God.
Barney and Friends was my first job when I was younger. They shoot in Dallas, Texas, which is where I'm from. And yeah, that's where I started. It's so weird to look back on the episodes that are now, yay, on Netflix. And see how small I was and how professional I was at that age. I was like, look at her go. It makes me super happy to see that.
I mean, you're in like some very good company because didn't like Selena and Demi and everybody get their start on Barney as well?
Yeah, they did. That's what everybody tells me. And I was like, oh, true. So I'm on the right path.
There you go. I mean, I was obsessed with Barney as a kid. Like, my first birthday party was Barney.
Really? Oh, that's really cute.
So you do Barney and you're in Texas. And then when do you kind of make the move to, doing more things? Do you come to LA? What's that process for you?
Yeah, so now I'm here permanently. But it used to be to where maybe for pilot season or, a couple months out of the year, my family would drive over here from Texas. We'd drive.
Oh my gosh.
And, yeah, it was insane. It was insane. That was a journey. And I was doing commercial, and then I was always doing auditions for like TV shows and stuff. And I've just been at it since then.
Do you remember like the first big thing or thing that felt big to you that you booked in LA?
Yes. I remember it because, girl. So we were on our way to LA from Dallas, and we had gotten a call from my agent that like, oh, you have a quick voiceover you have to do. It's for like, a spot in this show called, I don't know if you remember Special Agent also on Nick Jr. It was that one. And I was so excited because I loved that show.
Aww.
So on the road, I record it. I send it off. And while we're on the road, hey, she has a call back in person. We need you like first thing tomorrow morning. We're in like New Mexico at this point. We're like, tomorrow morning.
Turn it around.
Yeah. And so like, oh my gosh, it was crazy because so my dad's like, I'll get us there, don't worry. And I'm like, I think 9 at this point, 9, 10. And we're driving and our car breaks down in the middle of Arizona.
No.
in the middle of the night. And it was so scary. There was like nothing. It was so dark. I remember just being like, wow, I think this is where it ends for me.
Yeah, this is it. This is it. This goes down.
So dramatic. Next morning, we're like, hey, like we're gonna be like a little bit late. Is like it possible to like, extend the time a little bit? They were able to extend the time to like 3 p.m. maybe. And by some miracle, my dad being a crazy driver, we make it on time to the callback. And as soon as I get back into the car from the callback, which I'm still in my clothes, by the way, from the road trip.
Oh my gosh.
My agent was like, I know you just went in, but you got the role. Like they weren't
wow.
Like, oh my gosh, it was so worth it. It felt good. I remember being so happy. We hadn't even gotten to our Airbnb type thing yet. It was just, we were still like in our road trip clothes, and we're jumping up and down the parking lot like, yeah.
Oh my gosh, that is so cute. What a great story of like the first big thing that you booked. I mean,
yeah.
Wow. That's wild. That's like some indie film type of weird story. Yes, it's a total Little Miss Sunshine moment. That's amazing. And then you went on to, I mean, you've done so much, especially in the voiceover world. I mean, you're consistently just kicking butt and taking names over there. But I want to talk a little bit about your time on Jane the Virgin as Teen Jane.
Yeah.
I mean, that must have been such a cool experience being the younger version of such a iconic character.
Yeah, it was really, I think everything I've booked so far has like a crazy story as to how I booked it. Now that I'm thinking about it, because for that one, I auditioned. So crazy thing. So I show up to the director session, and the director comes out and she's like, hey, so, or casting comes out. She's like, hey, so does everybody have the right script? Because there's like a ton of girls in there. And I'm like, and everybody's like, well, what do you mean, like, right script? You know, she's like, so everybody's, I guess nobody got the new email, the new, like the memo that, you know, there's a totally, these are the old sides. These are not the sides. So we're going to be handing out, does anybody have the right script? The first line is, I don't remember what the first line is. I'm looking at my page and I'm like, I have that. And they're like, you do? And you know how casting can be, like, it's so many people, you can be there for like hours even.
Oh yeah.
There's a long line of girls, and they're like, she's like, you have it. I'm like, yeah, I'm pretty sure I have it. I go, come in. And out of all of those girls, I was the only one who had the right script. And I don't know how I got that actual script. Like, I thank my team for that. And then like a week goes by, I think. And and I'm in the living room. My mom comes in and she's like, I just got a call that you're supposed to be at wardrobe, like, today. I'm like, what? For what? She's like, I don't know. They're like, well, where's Montse? She has to be at wardrobe. For what? For Jane the Virgin. And it's like, what? Oh, and so it's like, nice surprise. That's how I found out. Like, I was already supposed to be at wardrobe, and I had no idea.
Oh my gosh. They just forgot to tell you completely.
I forgot, or maybe we didn't get the email or something. But yeah, and then being there and actually meeting Gina was really cool. She was really sweet. I don't think I look anything, well, especially when I was younger, I don't think I look like her. I feel like I look a little bit more like her now that I'm older, but definitely then I don't think I look like her. But I'm so grateful that they thought I'm so grateful that they thought I did.
Maybe it was like your personality, because I feel like you guys have like a very similar energy, like very, you know, positive, energetic. You kind of like light up the room, like, and Gina definitely has that vibe about her. So maybe it was more like the vibe that you gave off.
Probably, yeah. I think so.
As a podcast network, our first priority has always been audio and the stories we're able to share with you. But we also sell merch. And organizing that was made both possible and easy with Shopify. Shopify is the global commerce platform that helps you sell and grow at every stage of your business, from the launch your online shop stage all the way to the did we just hit 1 million orders stage. Whether you're selling scented soap or offering outdoor outfits, Shopify helps you sell everywhere. They have an all-in-one e-commerce platform and in-person POS system, so wherever and whatever you're selling, Shopify's got you covered. With the internet's best converting checkout, 36% better on average compared to other leading commerce platforms, Shopify helps you turn browsers into buyers. Shopify has allowed us to share something tangible with the podcast community we've built here, selling our beanies, sweatshirts, and mugs to fans of our shows without taking up too much time from all the other work we do to bring you even more great content. And it's not just us. Shopify powers 10% of all e-commerce in the US. Shopify is also the global force behind Allbirds, Rothy's, and Brooklinen, and millions of other entrepreneurs of every size across 175 countries. Because businesses that grow with Shopify. Sign up for a $1 per month trial period at shopify.com/realm, all lowercase. Go to shopify.com/REALM now to grow your business, no matter what stage you're in. Shopify.com/realm. You can shop from anywhere doing pretty much anything. You might shop while working, eating, or even listening to this podcast. And however you shop, we all know and love the thrill of the hunt. But do you also know how to get the thrill of the best deals? Because Rakuten shoppers do. With Rakuten, they get the deals they love with the most savings and cash back. And you can get it too. Start getting cash back at your favorite stores like Sephora, Nike, and even Expedia if you're looking to get some travel in. And getting cash back doesn't mean you have to miss out on sales because those can just be stacked right on top. It's easy to use and based on a simple idea. Stores pay Rakuten for sending them shoppers, and Rakuten shares the money with you as cash back through PayPal or check. Download the free Rakuten app and never miss a deal. Or go to Rakuten.com to start getting the most bang for your buck. That's RAKUTEN.
But let's go to your work in voiceover, because you also have done The Last Kids on Earth with Netflix, which is so cool, and you're Gwen on Ben 10, which is like, you know, I mean, I feel like everyone knows Ben 10. It's been around forever, and it's just one of those.
Oh yeah,
staples.
I used to watch Ben 10. Yeah.
So how was it when you booked the role of Gwen? Like, that must have been crazy for you.
That because I booked it, of course, it's a story. So I had originally gone in because they were auditioning actual 10-year-old boys for the role of Ben. And I had no idea that Ben was played by Tara Strong, like a female. And I was like, you know, so anyways, so they're auditioning these 10-year-old boys, and I was the only one that got a call back, and obviously for just Gwen. And I booked it, and I'm like, I wonder if that kid that, you know, I auditioned with booked it because he was really sweet, and like, you know, he's like a little brother, and like, you know, it'd be fun to work with him. And they're like, no, I think they're just gonna go with Tara Strong. I'm like, who's Tara Strong? You know?
Oh my gosh.
Who's Tara Strong? And I look her up and I flip. I'm like, she's Twilight Sparkle. She's Timmy Turner. Like, I freaked. And so when I had my first day of work and I saw her, I was like, oh my gosh, I was so starstruck because I love cartoons. So everyone's seen everything she's been on.
Yeah.
So I was like, hi, Tara. Like, I was just so shy. And I worked on Ben 10 since I was 15. Wow. And we finished recording in 2020, January 2020.
Aww.
I know. So good port. They saw me grow up, which I think was really cool. I definitely got a family out of that whole cast and crew.
Yeah, it's nice to have that support when you're going through your teen years in this industry, because it's such a strange time. Like, sometimes you can't even get cast in roles that are your age because people who are 18 to 25 are booking those roles, and it's like there's just this weird thing that happens when you're a teenager in this industry. So it's nice to have that stable base of family who have been there and who have seen it and who you can go to. Yeah,
honestly, it's like the best. I miss all of them. I miss going into recording so much. They're so funny. Everybody on that set was great.
Aw. Well, let's talk to you a little bit about The Last Kids on Earth, which is on Netflix. I mean, you worked with some major names in that show. What was that like?
So they recorded all of their stuff separately because obviously, like, their schedules are so busy.
Right.
Again, I had no idea who the monster voices were going to be, like the other cast.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so we didn't find out. Well, at least I didn't. I didn't find out that Rosario Dawson, Mark, like all these incredible people were going to be on it until the show was announced, like to be released. So
Holy crap!
Yeah, so I'm working like almost a year on this with Nick and Charlie and everyone, and I'm like, I wonder who the monsters are going to be. Like, I'm curious because they're such characters. And then like deadline, oh, Rosario Dawson, Mark Hamill. I'm like, are you kidding me?
What? Just, casually dropping in Luke Skywalker, no problem.
Honestly, I'm like, what? So that was cool to find out that they were, I was working with them, not in the same booth in the recording, but definitely as a, on
with them.
Yes, in spirit,
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
That's wild. I love that so much.
It was crazy.
Okay, so let's talk a little bit about Student Body. I know we talked about it a lot in the beginning, a little bit too, but let's dive into this.
I'm ready.
So because obviously you have crazy stories when it comes to auditions. So what was this one?
So this one, I didn't. So people have asked me like, what did you do to prepare? Like, what did you do like for the audition? Like, did you think like, did you know like, oh, I'm gonna book this? No, I did not. I did try. I always give like my 110% best in every audition I do. But when I received the script and the breakdown, I didn't really. I was like, I love this. I love this script. I love this character, but it's just not mine. Because I read the character name is Jane Shipley. I was like, I am not a Jane. I'm a Jane Villanueva for sure, but I am not a Jane Shipley. So I was like, man, this really sucks, but I did it anyways. And submitted it, didn't think anything of it at all. And then it comes back around. And like, oh, they want to see you for like, the director wants to have a Zoom session. And that wasn't actually too crazy. That one actually was very chill. Very chill. And I talked to Leanne, who's incredible director. I love her so much. And I actually, did even better than I did in my audition. Because I'm like, oh, maybe I do have a chance. And after that, I was like, I think maybe they might change her name. Maybe,
yeah.
I don't know. I feel pretty good about it. And then I think a couple days later, I was at the gym. I had a had a personal trainer because I was like, I need to get stronger. And that morning, while I'm at the gym, because like we can just walk to it from my apartment, my mom comes into the gym and I'm working out. And I tell my trainer, I'm like, "Is that my mom?" Like, what the heck? He's like, "Yeah, I think that is your mom." And she comes in and she's like, "Melissa's on my agent." I'm like, "Melissa's on the phone with you." Like she's on the phone. And I answer, like, "Hi, sweetie. You booked Student Body, yay!" And I was like, my trainers there, like, "Yo!" So we're all just celebrating in like the gym, and everyone's like, obviously bothered. But yeah. And then from there, knowing, okay, so I can be Jane Shipley. That's where the real preparation started. Like the real, like getting into character and knowing and figuring out who Jane is. And yeah.
So, I mean, going into the audition, because you had this, preconceived like notion like, oh, I can't be this person because that's just not who I am. Do you think that took off maybe some pressure from the situation, maybe from like being, hyper aware that you really wanted this to being like, well, I'm not going to get this, so it's okay?
Yeah. So it was a self-tape audition. So I was already even more relaxed. And knowing I just, it's actually, it sounds so bad, but for the last scene, Jane has a monologue. And I held my script the entire time.
Yeah.
just that was that, like, you know, and that's like my mindset now is different, but that was definitely my mindset back then. In 2019, I was like, oh, you know, like I would, you know, but yeah, it's when you don't think about things too much, that's when, like, I was surprised. I'm like, I was holding my script, but that also, I'm a strong believer in what my grandma says. She always tells me, like, what, and how's it in English? I'm trying to translate it in my head. What is meant for you and what is yours, no one can take away from you.
Yeah.
And that's definitely how I felt about student body. Like that was like mine from the start. Didn't matter.
Mm-hmm. Well, I don't think there's anything wrong with like holding your script if you have a long monologue and it's like,
yeah. Well,
you're not necessarily, required to know the holding thing.
Yeah, well, but me, like, I'm such a perfectionist sometimes, and like if I'll normally I will, like, I go in off book as much as I can, and I get it down, and so the fact that for me I was even like a little bit disappointed in myself that I went as far as being like, I don't care, I'm just gonna go my script, like looking back on it now, I would have definitely not have done that from the start, like just have tried even harder and not had like a defeatist mentality from the start.
But you never know, you might not have gotten that callback.
Exactly.
Have, like, gone super crazy.
I did something right.
Yeah. I think it was, I think that maybe it was more like, I bet you came off just more relaxed and more like, oh, whatever, like, this is, I'm going to do my best, and if I don't get it, it's fine, let's move on. And I think that's the biggest part of acting and auditions is, like, being able to possess that mentality of saying, yeah, I really want this, but also it's not going to end my career, end my life if I don't get this role. There will be something else, and I will continue to act.
Yeah, no, it's important to definitely let things go, auditions go, as soon as, like, you finish them.
Yeah.
You don't want to dwell on overthink, because then you're going to get bum yourself out, and it's not the way to go.
And we've all been there, so we don't need to do that.
Like, no, but it happens.
Yeah. So, speaking of bad auditions and things like that, do you have any other horror stories or funny things that you'd like to share with the audience that have happened in the audition room?
Let me think. I'm gonna think for a minute. Hold on. Bad horror stories. I wouldn't say horror stories. I'm knocking on wood. It's been pretty good so far going into the room.
Yeah.
Let me think.
It could be the one that got away too. If you have one that you like really wanted that you didn't get.
Oh. Yeah. Oh, okay. So for that one, I was 16, I think, and I had this super important. Actually, Yvonne Cole, the grandma on Jane the Virgin, she coached me for it.
Aww.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, she's incredible. I love her so much. She coached me for it, and I went in. I did my best. Didn't think anything of it, but I wanted that one so bad. Like, I wanted that one every day. I'm like, did you hear anything? I've been checking my email, doing this, doing that. And I get a call back. Okay, I go back to Yvonne. We, do the work, go into audition. That's that. And then one more time, hey, they want you for a chemistry read with this huge actor. And I'm like, oh my God. Oh my gosh, I manifested this now. So, go back to Yvonne, do the work. And that day, I remember who cares? I was on my time of the month, and I'm like, of course, 16-year-old me was like, are you kidding me? So that was just already like, I was already super uncomfortable because I'm like,
Yep. Been there.
Yeah. Like, I want to be here, but I don't want to be here because my tummy hurts,
Yeah. I want to be in bed with ice cream. Please leave me alone.
Exactly. And I go in, and that actor is there.
Oh, God.
And I'm like, oh my gosh, he's so hot. 16-year-old me was like simping over this like 40-something-year-old man. I was like, he's so hot, and I'm like, okay, so I do the work, and the character's supposed to be really tough, and at some point, I was sitting like slouched like on the chair like this, and my legs were like I was man spreading, and I'm just vibing, and I feel good about the performance. It was great, and I leave the audition, the room, and I'm like, wow, that whether this goes forward or not, I'm really proud of what I did. Turns out my pants were no, sitting
No.
just like it wasn't even that much. I'm pretty sure no one noticed, but I'm pretty sure someone noticed.
Oh God.
Being a girl is so hard.
Being a girl sucks sometimes. That's just awful.
Like it was awful. But I was like, you know what? It's at 16-year-old is the end of the world,
Well,
21 is like it. Who
Your girl.
cares?
Yeah, like, this is literally what happens to us.
Exactly. So, no, back then it was like the end of the world.
Yeah.
And then I get a note from my agent that I'm in the midst.
Wow.
I'm already signing contracts just in case. Like already signing contracts is like a big. I really thought, Then we get the call. No, last minute. They're going another direction. My what? What?
No.
It's not going your way. So, oh my gosh. I remember I've never, ever in my life cried over an audition. I was like sobbing. I was sobbing because like, it's like you go through all these steps and all these different moments. And it's like, are you kidding me? Like, you just get so close,
Yeah, well, and you get like so connected to the character, and then you get connected to the director or whoever it is that you've been working with now for, several different auditions, different rounds on things, and you get connected to the project, and you're like, oh, I want this project. I want to be able to make it with these people.
Yeah, exactly. And and it was, I remember my grandma was in town, and she's always showing me that tough love. But never so growing up, this is relevant, sorry, but real quick, like, growing up, she was very sweet. Every now and then she'd be like a little bit, tough with me, but never mean, never like harsh. It was always still in that grandmotherly way, like very gentle, very like, sometimes these things happen. Don't worry about it. No. I was in bed crying, and my grandma bust through the door. Why are you crying? What? Wipe your face. Get up. Why are you crying? And I've never heard her talk like that before in my life. I'm like, oh my God, my grandma's sorry. And she's like, like, stop it. It happens. This is not the end of the world. This is not the final project that you're ever going to audition for. And she's like, if you want to cry, if you need to cry, you know what? Fine. Go ahead. But tomorrow, I need you. Nothing. Nada. No tears. No nothing. You're going to work even harder to get what you want to be, and that's that. And then she left.
There you go. Grandma, laying it down.
Okay. But looking back on it now, some people have asked me, well, do you hate the girl who got it? Like, did you ever be like, oh, I hate her. Like, I need to be better. And even at 16, my answer was always no. Never. Because a win for one, especially being a Latina, is like a win for all of us. As long as it was one of us, homegirl, like, you go. Like, yes, I was so happy. Like, obviously I was upset that I didn't get it, but the bigger picture, like, for me was she got it. That's another one of us, and I'm really proud of her.
Aw, that's so sweet. But it's true. I mean, there has to be a camaraderie between your peers, and it has to be, you have to be able to root for each other and root for each other's wins and be there for each other's losses, because this industry would be hell without that.
Yeah, honestly. Like, I hate that whole, like, they're competing. They have to, it's like, no, like, everybody has different styles. Everybody has different looks. Projects are meant for different people. And that's just like the nature of it. Like, you're not going to win them all.
Well, and like you said, like your grandma says earlier, what's meant for you won't pass you. That is for you.
Yep.
Well, I've had such a joy talking to you, and I'm so excited to see Student Body, which is out February 8th. Is that right?
February 8th. And the pre-sale is out now.
Woohoo! Well, I'm very excited to see the film and to see where your career takes you. And where can people follow you on social media to keep up?
So y'all can follow me on Instagram and Twitter. The same handle. It's at @Iam_Montse. That's MONTSE. Like, it's so confusing.
Amazing. Well, thank you again so much for being on the show. It was such a pleasure to talk to you. And oh my gosh, so many fun stories.
Thank you for having me. Yeah, my story.
Thanks again to Montse for coming on the show and spending a little time with me. Make sure to go see her film, Student Body, hitting theaters February 8th. I know I'm excited. I love a good horror movie. So I'm excited to be a little scared. And hey, if you haven't subscribed to the show yet, now's a great time to do that. You can also leave a rating and a review, help your girl out a little bit. And hey, make sure to check out our social media accounts. Those are in the show notes for fun videos from these interviews. And tune in next week when I will have another guest on the show. Hopefully. I don't know. I haven't recorded it yet, but I think I will. And as always, thanks for coming in.
Contained herein are the heresies of Radolf Buntwine, erstwhile monk turned traveling medical investigator. Join me as I uncover the blasphemous truth of a plague-ridden world, that ours is not a loving God, and we are not its favored children. The heresies of Radolf Buntwine, coming January 2nd, wherever podcasts are available.